Hey, what's up? Welcome back to Invest in Unfiltered. This is episode 4, and today we're going to talk real estate. As you can see, this is not our normal podcast setup. We had a video, there was some technical difficulties, but the show goes on. So today you got me. I even got my little tiny baby microphone for you. I got my lighting. I'm not gonna give you too much behind the music here, but let's get into it. Listen, growing up, I didn't know anything about real estate. I didn't know anything about money. But I decided that I wanted to find a way to create generational wealth and to make myself and my family comfortable, as well as give me an option of retiring early. Who wants to work at 60? Right. I decided I wanted to make money. I didn't know how. I got in the military. I learned about the VA loan. And through the process of buying my first house, I fell in love. Actually, it was being able to take money out because of the equity. That's what really kind of gave me an idea of being able to play with money a little bit, you know? I mean, I was 21 years old and I had like $20,000 in my pocket. I didn't know what to do with it. I was lost. But I'm going to help you learn from some of the mistakes that I made early and possibly try to teach you how you can get into real estate early on, much faster, much more effectively than I did. So let's do this. Real estate investing in the beginning, when you're starting off with maybe just yourself or even a small team, the key word is acquisitions. Acquisitions. Now, this is more than just how we get properties into our portfolio. This is the entire whole enchilada, baby, because it comes down to qualifying leads, finding leads, how we do outreach, how are we going to reach out to these owners and get these properties into our portfolios, right? After we get these properties, or at least get these deals, how are we going to find the money to pay for these leads? One of the biggest things that I fell into when I started looking at properties was I would find a great deal, but I had no clue how to find the money or find the proof of funds. And everyone kept saying, look online, you know, go on the Facebook group. All I ever got from that was scammers. Let's learn how we can actually get these deals in. And then lastly, what we do when we have them, who's managing a property, who's managing a portfolio, and what does that money mean? The key to a great investment is, yes, the investment itself, but the real money is made on the exit strategy. How you exit the deal is everything, because you might make your pennies, you might make your maybe a couple $100 a month here or there on the rental income, and you have, you know, a great portfolio that's worth a lot of money. Where you make your big cash and where you're able to go and do the next investment and even scale your business is off of how you exit, right? So let's jump in, back down to square one, baby. All right, so boom, step one, how we structured our acquisitions department, right? Our company is called United Us REI Group Limited, right? Basically, the goal is to bring investments and the power of investing to everyone, regardless of where you came from, regardless of what you have. If you are a seasoned investor, we can help you with resources, we can help you with portfolio management. If you're a brand new investor, we can help you with all of the bits and pieces, connecting those dots that we had to figure out along the way very painfully. Our acquisitions department is set up quite simply, right? There are 3 pillars. Those 3 pillars are made up of general acquisitions, which is just the acquisition of properties, bringing properties in. Portfolio management, which is basically just taking care of those properties and all the bits and pieces that go into managing the deals, the properties, and the portfolios. That's the money, baby. And finally, the last piece is exit strategies. The last leg for us is just how we plan to get out. Who does those deals? Who takes care of that? Who watches the market? Who says now it's time to jump? And when do we jump? And how do we jump, right? Is it gonna be a fix and flip? Maybe it's a buy and hold for 5 years. Maybe it's a buy and hold for 20. Who knows, right? Maybe we're gonna do a payout, a big cash payout, or a refi. Who knows? So, the key elements of our acquisitions department in the beginning are lead generation, lead qualification, lead outreach, and CRMs. All of these can be broken down into the subcategories. How are you bringing your leads? How do you qualify, and what criteria are you looking for? What makes a good property? How are you contacting these sellers? And then, how are you organizing all of the information that you just got, right? Now, some key questions you should be asking yourself, right? When you're looking at properties, when you're looking for vetting properties and qualifying leads, some of the very first things that I teach all of my new investors, and I teach all of my new employees, everyone who comes to work with me, what is an ARV? What are repairs going to cost? Is the seller motivated or just curious, kind of? And what is the timeline and the pain point? What is the reason that this seller wants to sell? All of these things are incredibly important. Starting from the bottom to the top, the why. If the seller is just kind of diddling his foot in, but you've got another seller who may be going through a divorce, maybe his house is being foreclosed on, maybe this is his last straw before he loses his credit for good. How can you help that person? What can you do to help alleviate some of that stress and come in and save the day? A motivated seller is going to make the difference every single time. If you find a deal that looks amazing and the seller just doesn't seem like they want to sell, don't waste your time on that. Unless you think that you just got the pitch that's gonna make the switch. That was a good one. Next, how much is it going to cost to fix this property up? You might think that this thing's a dime. There can always be something done to add value. Keywords, add value. My partner Garen is one of his favorite words ever. Every time we talk about an investment, my man says, how can we add value to this that's going to make us more money when we sell? Whether it be putting new floors in, maybe this is an entire gut job, maybe it's not, maybe you just want to put new carpets, maybe you just want to change the color of the walls. Any way you can, what is it going to cost for you to make this thing sellable and add value? And lastly, what is the ARV, or after rehab value? How much will this property be worth after I put in the work? Now, for example, let's say we take a property. You buy this thing for $100,000. It's a piece of shit. It's a gut job. Let's say it needs 90K in. Now you're 190 in. But if the property has an ARV of, let's say, 300, maybe 350, you're still sitting on a good $150,000 of profit after all repairs and expenses. You pay your taxes, whatever, you pay all the people off, you pay everything that needs to be happen. You're still gonna walk out of here with a clean 110, 115. Sounds pretty good to me. Right, so how do we determine ARV? Okay, well, the ARV is determined by cost of the property, cost of repairs, and value determined by comparable properties in the area. You're going to take the properties in that area. You're going to figure out how much that they're selling for when they look all fine and dandy and shiny and brand new. And you're going to say, okay, well, that must be how much people are willing to pay for this property if I make it look like that. Right? Where can you find that information? Zillow, Redfin, Google, Ask a Buddy? I don't know, man. All right, so we've covered a little bit about how to look into these deals. Let's talk about how to lock one in. Where are you gonna find these deals? My team, we have a personal preference. Again, not a sponsor, but we love PropStream. PropStream will allow you to see deals, it'll allow you to put in your filters. You can find distressed properties like that in your city, in your market. And if you don't know how to find or how to pick a market that's good for you, you need to go to unitedusrei.com. unitedusrei.com, baby. We're going to give you all the resources you need. We're going to help you find your market, as well as help you find contracts and tell you if your deal is good or bad. You can also reach out to us at any time, and we will get on the phone with you and walk you through your first deal, no charge. We just love to see people come up. Now, you found the house you love. You've gone on PropStream. Maybe you went onto a Facebook group. You joined a local investor group on Facebook. I'm telling you, I've joined these groups. I'm in 5 of them in my current markets, and literally every other post is, look at this property, look at this property, look at this property. If you want to buy, that's the place to go. No, seriously. Now, you found your deal. You found the one you love, right? What's the next step? Crunching the numbers. You're gonna crunch those numbers. You're gonna weigh it out of criteria. You're gonna find the ARV. And from that ARV, you're gonna find what your maximum allowable offer is. MAO. Maximum allowable offer. That is the absolute limit of how much you can afford to pay for that property and still make money after it's all fixed up. You've already said, this property is gonna take $100,000 of work. When it's done, it will be worth $300,000. Should I buy it for $200,000? Wrong. Find your maximum allowable offer. Once you have all that nailed down, you've decided this property works for me. Start making phone calls. Make a list. Make 10 properties in a list. Say, matter of fact, make 100 properties in a list. Get 100 properties into a list. All of them are with working numbers. Then you're going to find the contact information for all those properties, and then you're going to start making phone calls. That's how you cold call. If you found one of those properties off Facebook, most of the work's already done for you. They'll usually give you the MAO, check it again. They'll usually give you the ARV, check it again. They'll probably even give you the rehab cost. Do I gotta say it? So listen, after you check it again, after you've found the property, you've reached out to the owner, we have a deal! We have a deal! Where are you gonna find the money, right? There are a couple different options here. Option A, hard money. Option B, bank. Option C, friends and family who want to invest. Or option D, you can try to syndicate, which really just means getting a bunch of people together and saying, hey, look, I want to get in my first deal. I would love to buy a property, but I don't really have the money. What if we all went together, right? Now, there are plenty of ways to get into real estate without spending a dime. I mean, you can listen to good old man Pace Morby and go the sub 2 route, or you could even listen to, what's the guy, the wholesale dude. Forgot his name. You can do wholesale. Plenty of ways. Personally, from my experience, there aren't a lot of actual ways without spending your money. You will need capital to start. Now, how you find that can be as creative as you want, right? For example, if you go directly to the seller, you can do seller financing. Seller financing really just means, hey, let's make a deal. How about instead of paying the bank, I pay you with interest? And now you guys get to negotiate your terms on your own level. That comes with its own risks. It comes with its own challenges. Realistically, everything you do in this day and age, the first thing people are going to think is scammer. So when you reach out to a seller, no matter what your financing options are, when you reach out to anyone, your first goal is, how can I relate? How can I talk to you on your level? And then what is a problem for you that I can solve? If you come at somebody with those intentions in mind, they will automatically know that you're a genuine individual. They will know you're authentic, and they may or may not, they may give you the time of day. So, you've got your first deal. You've figured out how you're gonna finance it. You figured out how to get into it, right? The last step is, before you decide to sit back and start collecting money, what is your exit strategy, right? How are you gonna get out of this deal? Are you going to sell it right away? If that's the plan, watch the market. Don't buy with the plan to sell in a market where properties are sitting for 7 months. You're going to hemorrhage cash. You will lose your money. Anyways, well, option number 2, you sit on it. You sit and make some cash. Your portfolio goes up, you know? Make sure though that you buy in a rental market that a property like yours can make decent cash over what your loan is, if you have a loan, or over what the cash going into it is. You wanna make money. And if you're gonna rent, please get a property manager, all right? Now, I'm not gonna tell you that United S REI does property management. We do. But please get a property manager. I've seen too many of my clients get over because they don't have a property manager and they think, I'm gonna do it on my own. and their property goes to shit, don't be a slumlord, dude. Get a property manager, someone to manage your books correctly, someone to pay the taxes correctly, schedule maintenance correctly, and correlate between the renter and you. Hire a professional. All right, folks. Well, that's going to be it from me today. I'm really glad you guys decided to sit with me. Next week, we will have an episode just as normal, just as we always did. And remember, as always, stay invested because we are going to be